back, y'all. We're going to do some more calculus today. We're going to work on the quotient rule. The quotient rule. I've got a couple of examples I want to work through for using the quotient rule, and then, of course, just math, y'all. This Southern girl's got a strange way to remember the quotient rule, so bear with me. Here we go. Um, the quotient rule, I learned it as a little jingle. Low-de high minus high-de low over low-low. And I know that just sounds about as country as it could get, and maybe it was. But there it is. It works. Low-de high minus high-de low over low-low. It's just math, y'all. Here we go. So basically, the low is your denominator, and your high is your numerator. And so if you want to, you can write this out, but I just want to, just kind of throw it out there. Your low function for this one is x squared plus 1. Your derivative of the low function, or the denominator, is 2x. Your high function, or your numerator, is 5x squared plus 8. And the derivative of the high function is 10x. Should be a better looking 8. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to do low-de high minus high-de low over low-low, and then we're going to simplify. So, the low function, that would be x squared plus 1, times the derivative of the high function, which would be 10x, minus, that's the big deal there. You know how negative signs are always getting in your way and you can't ever tell where they're at, and you always lose them and they always mess you up, and it's always a sign issue when you feel like you got it wrong? Here you go. Keep your eye on that minus sign. Alright, so low-de high minus high d low. And the derivative of the low is 2x. Okay, over low, or low squared. A lot of people say low squared. So yeah, it's low squared. Okay, so now I'm going to simplify my numerator, and let's see what happens. Distribute the 10x. I'm going to get 10x to the third plus 10x. Then I've got to distribute and subtract. So careful of the signs. When I distribute it here, that'll give me a 10x squared, but then it's going to be a minus 10x squared. And then distribute the 2x, it's going to give me 16x, but then it's also a minus 16x. And that's going to be a third, not a squared. Brain work. Everybody just stop me and tell me I got it wrong. And then that's going to give me a negative 6x over x squared plus 1 to the second power. So there's my f prime of x right there. Low-de high minus high-de low over low-low. Here we go. Just math, y'all. All right. Now, here's one, and that's not the correct problem. Let me fix that problem. This problem is much uglier than that one. Let's do what we're supposed to do. That's supposed to be a 4 square root of w plus 3. Okay, getting into these radicals again. Dealing with radicals in the midst of all this, simplifying radicals, that is difficult. In calculus, we generally don't use the radicals, but sometimes it's easier to use the radical. It just depends on your simplification. So on the previous problem I had, I used a common denominator. Well, on this one, I'm also going to use a common denominator, but we're also going to have some complex fractions to have to deal with. So we might want to, we're going to need a little scratch paper over here. Hopefully I won't need much more than that, but always get it ready. You never know when you're going to need it. And let's jump into this problem. Okay, so we're going to do low-de high minus high-de low over low-low. This is the low, this is the high. Okay, so my low, we'll go ahead and do it. So my low is 4 squared roots of w plus 3 times the derivative of the high, low, d high. So the derivative of the high would be 8 minus the high, which is the numerator, times the derivative of the low. Okay, so now what is the derivative of the low? So the derivative of the low, that's where my scratch paper comes in. The derivative of a constant is 0, so that's not going to be an issue. Again, if we write this as 4w to the 1/2, and we use our little power rule, then we'll have a 2w to the negative 1/2. Okay, and then we write that without the negative exponent. I have 2 over w to the 1/2, and then I rewrite it using the radicals. I am recording, so we have 2 over the square root of w. Okay, children. Alrighty, so here we go. Low D high minus high D low over low low. Now, over low low. Now, we're going to need to work on this numerator a good bit. We're not going to do anything with that denominator just yet. Just like we did in the previous problem I did on the product rule, we're going to get a common denominator on this one as well. Okay? We're going to get a common denominator and take care of this numerator. Oops, y'all don't want to see that next problem. This one's bad enough. Okay, so we're going to get a common denominator of square root of w. So for this top one, I'm going to just do a square root of w over square root of w. Okay, and so when I simplify this numerator, let's get that out of the way. It's correct. We won't forget it. We won't forget our denominators down. Okay, but I'm going to put these two fractions together using addition, subtraction, however you want to call it. Let's put those two together. Alright, so there's my new. There we go. Alright, so let's get this together. So now when I multiply, I've got to do the 8 and the square root of w. Okay, so that's going to give me a 32w. Okay, plus 24 square root of w. Take that through. Make sure you did it right. Okay, and then don't forget this is going to be a minus. So a 16w and a minus 6. Okay, so now we have some like terms here. And that's going to give me a 16w plus 24 square roots of w minus 6. And that's all over the square root of w. And so some of you are like, I don't remember complex fractions. How do I got two fractions and I don't know how to do this. Well, let's just go over here to our scratch paper and let's just make a simpler problem and see what happens. What if I had 5 over x divided by 7? Okay, how would I simplify that? Well, you would remember that this is 5 over x times 1 over 7. Remember, when you divide fractions, you flip the second one and you multiply. And so that becomes 5. And then the x and the 7 just multiply each other. So basically what's happening is this denominator and this denominator just turn into the single denominator. And that's it. So I've got the little one in the front, and then I'll have the binomial squared. Second, that is my official answer. Wow, it's just math, y'all. I hope it's a little simpler now. But yeah, sometimes these problems are tricky. You've got to kind of mess with them a little bit. Decide, do I do the fractional exponent or do I do the radical or what? So this one works good with the radical getting the common denominator, just like the one we did on the previous video. All right, I got a couple more I want to show you. We'll come back and do those quotient rule problems on the next video.